RWP is brought to you by Porch Beer Entertainment.
But I did want to check in on how the body's feeling, because I feel like I went through a war. Like, I don't know why I'm this sore. Like, I played...
Did you feel the same way after the first set of games? The first set of games was worse for me. The first set of games, both
Maybe I just did less.
So, yeah, that's probably it. You just probably didn't work that hard.
No, you're probably right. Which is what I should have done this time. I don't know why. Like, my hamstring, it feels better today. But that night, like, and the next day, like, sleeping and walking, like, again, this is for softball. This is a meaningless sport.
It's not meaningless. Once you get out there and you're just like, I don't want to lose anymore.
I mean, I scraped up both my knees. I had, like,
I saw, yeah, that
a
was
scratch on my arm.
Dude, you laid it all out there. I loved it. Yeah, the first set of games we had to open the season, because I was just like going ham, my body wrote a check that I had to cash later, and so I could barely move my hips after that, so I had to take off from the gym.
Yeah, and your dancing lessons too.
Yeah, and then after this one, the first hit of the game, my first hit, when I hit first base, I pulled my hip flexor.
Yeah.
And then it was like that for the rest of the 2 hours.
I scored from first on a ball to the gap. I had to run.
You went first to third for me.
I went first to home.
Sorry, you went first to home for me because I hit that. Where did I hit that?
It was left center or something, or
no,
center.
I cranked that. It hit the. It went out, but the guy was playing really deep. But it hit the fence on the fly, and you were just. I was like,
I had to run.
Go, Ben, go!
I had to run from first base to home, and right when I touched home, my hamstring gave out. It was literally what are you doing? Because even when I played in the adult men's league baseball, I didn't on the base paths. I told the team, I was like, look, I'm not stealing. I'm not trying to do anything crazy here. I'm going station to station. I'm here to drive in runs. I'm not here to be a speed demon. But with this softball league, we were losing by so much because our team is so bad that I was like, I have to score this run. And then afterwards, I was like, God damn it, why did I have to do that? Because it's interesting because we're really, really bad. I don't think I've played on some bad teams over the years. We're really bad.
So to give you an update, Rando Nation, we are in a men's league softball.
We've reached that stage in our lives. Yep. Every man gets to that stage. Every athlete, reaches that stage where you move into the slow pitch softball realm at some point.
It's a great space to play in.
Is this beer for me, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a great space to be in. But so we had to join as two small free agent groups. So we were only bringing 6 players in the equation.
Yeah, something
and
like
then
that.
this other team already had 10 players. And so we got paired with them. And so we made one ultra team. And the best part is these guys, they're great guys.
No, they're super nice.
They're great guys.
I have nothing against them.
They're learning quick too. They're actually we did remarkably better.
It's like we're on a team of children and we're the adults on the team, so we're teaching them the game. Yes. And they're all nice kids. But even though they're probably older than us, I don't really know. I don't know what their age is. One of them requested me on Facebook. Did you get a friend request?
Was it Victor?
Victor, it was Victor.
Victor, yeah.
We're friends on Facebook now.
Yeah. No, they're great and they're learning and they're getting better each time. But yeah, it's
but the team is really bad.
But they told us, they're this is the first time we've ever even played softball in our lives.
Yeah.
Some of them baseball in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just and they're we probably shouldn't be we're in the mid-tier league.
Yeah.
So there's beginner, there's mid-tier for casual players, and then there's competitive.
Yeah.
So they were we probably outstretched by going to the mid-tier, but we're getting better. We'll get there.
I don't know if we'll get there. If I had to bet the over/under on, I'd set the line at 2 wins this season. And
dude, that's wait, 2 wins? Are they both in the same night? Because we play doubleheaders.
No,
spread out.
Just 2 wins spread out. That's the line.
Everyone makes the playoffs, though, man.
I mean, that's good. I'm
glad.
If
the 2 wins come in the playoffs, it's.
I mean, you're right. We could be the dream Cinderella team. So if you are in the Fairfax area, which is funny because they say like, oh, the league's it's like Fairfax Youth Sports. Then they send us to Springfield, Vienna, and Burke. I think were the 3 like locations they sent us to so far. And it's like, all right, well, I guess we're not playing in Fairfax, which is kind of stinks because you and I both live right by Fairfax each time. And then the thing that's killing me is these late night games. Next week, it's tough. It's an 8:55 and a 9:55. No, 9:55 and 10:55, isn't it? Or am I exaggerating? I think
I think you're right. It's the 7:55, 8:55.
No, it's 8:55 and then 9:55.
Oh, that was our first set.
Yeah, and we're that's this week too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm asleep before 10 and snoring before 10.
We're normally in bed by 9.
Dude, I think I have to get a mouth guard because Abby's like getting to the point where she's like the snoring is just becoming too much. She's like
you can borrow mine.
Not like too much where like she's gonna like kick me out of the house. We do have a guest bedroom, but like no, she's like it's okay if I fall asleep.
If she falls asleep first,
then it doesn't bother. It's not gonna wake her up. But if I pass out first, she's screwed. Which is understandable because I always fall asleep first because I'm just a tired guy. You get me through a half of an episode of Friends, I'm out. I'm out like a light by like 9:30 because I try to get up at like 4 to work out.
Yeah.
So like my sleep patterns are all over the place. But wait, so are you a mouth guard wearer? Are you a snorer during the night?
No, so I only snore on very particular things. So like if I'm like absolutely exhausted, I snore. But what's weird about when the times that I snore, it's infrequent, but it does happen. Sure. If anybody in the room tells me to just shut up, for some reason, like
your body self, just like
my body, I will stop.
Yeah.
I will stop immediately. It happened on vacation where it was her family and I and Brittany and like everyone is all like crammed in this room and like I'm sleeping in one of the side
group
beds.
Group sleep is a dangerous game.
Well, that's just it. And I start snoring apparently.
Yeah.
And like people were like trying to ignore it, but then like someone just literally said, "Dalton, shut up," and I stopped.
Wow.
Yeah,
like unconscious self.
Because I think it's my social anxiety spreads to even my dreams.
My dad's a snorer, so growing up, at like when we'd have to go to baseball tournaments and stuff, it got to the point where like I would have to wear headphones every night because like the snoring. Because like he's similar to you, where if I like shout in the middle of the night, "Hey Dad, like be quiet, like you're snoring," he'd wake up for a second and he'd be like, "Oh, sorry about that. Then he'd go back to sleep, immediately start snoring again.
Yeah.
So I'd have to wear headphones.
That's hardcore. Yeah. Some. I'm not even exaggerating. Sometimes it sounds like the rainforest is being demolished.
And the thing is, so you and I actually slept in the same room for a year. And
2 years, yeah.
It was just one in the same room. Just one in the same room. And I will say, I feel like we didn't have too many sleep issues as far as like snore issues.
No, the funnier ones were the sleep talking.
It was the talk issues.
Yeah.
Which was the problem. God, I wish I still had those sound files because I would play them on the show. They're gone forever. But
yeah, because there's one where I just engaged you in conversation.
That was probably the craziest
thing. You woke up
thing.
and you were talking to me, and it woke me up, and I was like, what's going on, man? And you were like, oh, no. And you're saying all this stuff, and I was like, I didn't realize till halfway through the conversation that you were asleep. And I was like, Ben, you're asleep right now. And you were like, no, I'm not.
And listening back to those recordings, it actually was kind of creepy at times because like you'd like hear the things you were saying and I would be like sleeping and I'd be like, the Muffin Man will get his one day. And then you're like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
And then
I was
that reminded me of there was a guy I used to work with. He doesn't listen to the show. I can say his name, Jordan. And I don't know if I told you this. This was years ago when I worked at that company. We did our trip, the company trip, where everybody goes to like Jamaica or Mexico or something, and everybody gets wasted. And I shared a room with him. And I remember that night specifically was a night where like it felt like no matter how much I drank, I wasn't getting drunk. So I kind of gave up at one point. I think it was because you go to those resorts, a lot of it's watered down because it's all inclusive. And some nights they don't care, they don't water down. This was a night where like every drink I was getting was watered down. I was like, I just can't get drunk, so I kind of gave up at one point. Everybody else was getting drunk. So we went back to the room, or I went back to the room first. I was watching Netflix, and when you watch Netflix in Mexico, it's Mexico Netflix, so they have different shows than what we have in the States.
Really?
Based around the time zone or based around the region. Yeah, like people in England have different shows on their Netflix than we do and stuff like that. So
that'd throw me off. I'd be upset if I was trying to watch.
So it wasn't that like the shows were in Spanish or anything. It was just like different shows were there. Like let's say Breaking Bad wasn't on the U.S. Netflix at the time. It would be on the Mexico Netflix.
Interesting.
You know, like I think Better Call Saul was like on the Mexico Netflix. So I was sitting there. I was watching Mexican Netflix. Jordan comes in, wasted. And it's like, hey, man, how's it going? And everything seemed kind of normal. He was kind of like, yeah. He was like taking his clothes off.
Nice.
And no, to get into bed, not to, like get into my bed. And so he like, he stripped down. He gets into bed. I think things are all good.
Talk more about him stripping down.
I was like, look, he had that smooth white body. So he gets into his bed, and I think things are good. Okay, this guy's drunk. He's going to sleep. And I'm still watching Mexican Netflix. About like 45 minutes goes by, and he kind of slowly rises from his bed. It's very dark. It's just
like, does he start levitating?
Almost levitation like. He slowly rises from his bed, and he kind of stands in between our two beds, and he's starting to sway a little bit.
What?
And I'm like, what's going on? And then suddenly he pulls his pants down, and he starts peeing. On my bed, like on that bottom, like on the top bottom area of my bed.
What?
So at first I don't realize what's happening. I just I'm like not paying attention. I'm like, all right, what's he doing? And then suddenly I hear the noise first.
Dude, you didn't feel it?
No, because it was a long bed, so it was happening kind of towards the end, and I was kind of curled up. I was in my like TV watching zone. I like to have the hips curled up.
So he walked up to the side of your bed
and starts
took
peeing.
off his pants, and at that point you didn't.
I didn't know
what was your reaction.
Dark. It was dark. So he starts peeing, and I realize that when I realize he's peeing, I like take the headphones out and I'm like, Jordan, like, what are you doing? And he's like, and like the stream stops for a second, and then it continues. He pulled the stop stream, which is a possible task to do, unless you do your Kegels. And he keeps peeing, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I think he kind of like wakes up from his stupor for a second. He's kind of swaying. He's like, what's going on? And then he just timbers. Well, first he falls forward onto my bed, into the pee palace. Ghoulies and tackle out. Falls forward onto my bed. I have to grab his shoulders.
Don't touch him. Just take his bed,
dude. I have to grab because maybe he did a little bit in his bed too. I was like, I don't want to sleep in another man's bed, so I have to grab his upper shoulders and kind of lift him up in the air and toss him back on his bed and sway him back that way. And then basically there was really nothing I could do. It was like 4 a.m. I strip all the stuff off of my bed. And I just kind of I spend the night like sleeping on almost like a blank mattress, like way up towards the top. I'm basically going like horizontal at the top of the bed, like you would if you were like curled up like a dog,
like Willy Wonka style.
Willy Wonka style, up on the top of the bed. And the next morning he acted like he had no idea. He had no memory of any of it.
No.
So he woke up the next morning.
No idea.
He had no idea.
No bull.
He woke up the next morning. He's like, "Oh man, how's it going? How's it going?" I was like, "How's it going? I'll tell you how's it going. You see all this pile of clothes there?" You should have
thrown those pee-soaked blankets in his face.
Dude, it was one of those things where like it didn't faze him at all. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. That sucks." And then he like went to breakfast.
Hold on. He
went to breakfast.
Is he a psychopath?
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry about the, just the little tiny
like,
where I just peed all over your bed.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And he like,
what if he'd been standing next to you?
He hadn't even. It didn't faze him. But the last thing he said before he like went to breakfast, he's like, "Hey, by the way, like, don't tell anybody about this if you don't mind." He was literally like, "Hey, like, if you don't mind, like, just don't like don't like tell anybody about this." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I won't." Of course, I told everyone because I was like, Jordan peed in my bed. It went around, it spread like wildfire. But it was disgusting. But it made me think of that because we were talking about sleep movements and things like that.
Disgusting.
It was gross.
Oh my God! I would have just hit him with something, knock him the hell out, while he was doing that.
I mean,
put him in the bathroom and be like, "Oh yeah, wild night, dude."
It was late. I was in the middle of Mexican Netflix. I was like, I don't. I didn't know how to handle the situation because I'd never been in that situation before.
Well, it's fair because I would venture to guess that not a lot of people have been peed on. Some people have, and that's okay.
Some people prefer.
That's their fetish. That's fine. We're not here to kink shame anyone. We're just here to talk about like boundaries.
It was a lot. It was a lot to handle.
What would you have done if he actually was peeing on you?
That's a great question. I mean, I at some
gut
point
reaction.
Well,
would you have like been way more forceful? Like, I mean, or would you have just like been like, what do I? Would you just
at some point I
it?
did consider I was like, I'm gonna have to punch this guy's lights out. Like at some point I was like, I'm gonna have to fight this man because he's peeing on my bed. But then I realized halfway through it that like he thought he was asleep. He literally like, in his dreams he must have been going to the urinal, and the urinal was my king suite, my wonderful king size bed in wherever resort it was, and it was Secrets. It was a Secrets resort. So shout out to Secrets resorts.
I bet you Secrets has seen way worse. Than that.
Those resorts, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm sure they've seen some stuff. We want to we got to get to the show here quick, just because we got to blow through this because we got some stuff going on. It's football season. I know the Rando Nation probably doesn't care because it's a lot of nerds that listen to this show, but we do want to watch a little bit of football later.
Ben and I are going head to head in fantasy in our money league.
We are the Barkeezy Brawlers and Inglorious Staffords going mano y mano. My brother's part of the league this year as well.
He is,
and I know nobody cares about our fantasy football, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So we'll give you the updates after this weekend's matchup. We're going to be doing a little drinking, a little hanging. Nick is coming by to give us mystery presents.
Yeah,
we don't know what it is. He keeps saying he's like, what time will you guys all be there? And we're like, I don't know, around like 1 o'clock when the football starts. He's like, okay, I'll be there at 1 o'clock. We're like, hey man, you can like hang out with us.
He's just leaving town forever, and he's like, hey man,
you know what's going to happen is he's going to just drop off individual tubes that we have to then have, like he had like his big tube that we've been holding on to for a year and a half.
He's not leaving this house.
He can't.
I will staple it to his body.
Yeah, because Nick gave his big. We went to a bachelor. You've probably heard about this on the show, but real quick, we went to that bachelor party. We had Nick brought his inner tube, and then I was the only one. I for some reason had to take it, and then it stayed in my car.
You ended up
stayed in my car for like a year, and then I was able to pass it to like Jake.
No, you pass it to me.
To you.
And I had it for months.
Meanwhile, for years, we've been asking Nick, hey, man, can you take back the tube? And he's always been like, well, I don't have a car and I live in the city. So, I guess you guys are.
It's been over a year. Cause and then it landed with me and I had no idea what to do with it. And then Jake's bachelor party came up and I was like.
Not a lot of tubing in your in your house complex over here?
And I was like, Jake, do you need an inner tube? He's like, that would be amazing. I was like, deal. And then
an inner tube is something that really only comes in handy like once a year. In a very specific situation.
That's accurate. Maybe once a year, you go on some type of vehicle, aquatic device that needs an inner tube. Any other day of the week, it's a burden.
Takes up trunk space.
It is an inflatable burden, and it
took up my trunk space like for a year.
It's not
I couldn't
small.
fit anything else in there.
Even when it's deflated, it's not small.
It's not small.
And I got this dumb little vacuum pump too. That thing actually filled it up very quickly, but I still don't.
But we'll have some stories from this weekend because Salty Dalton and I will be hanging out a couple days in a row, as well as the Goose and CMO Pete. So we'll have some stuff to talk about next week. But Salty Dalton, let's get ready to get into this thing. And the way we do that here this season, of course, is haiku, right? Haiku generator.
Oh, I guess we haven't switched seasons yet. Oh.
No, we're still in 40s.
Okay, hold on.
No, that's all right. We're still in the 40s here. We did take a hiatus last week, a little break, but we are back in action. I hope you guys enjoyed the 1-year anniversary show. It was a little different format. We wanted to go over a lot of different stuff and give you guys the inside scoop. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
All right, so we got our haiku, so we can start the show. I'll turn things over to you, Salty Dalton.
Cube, a haiku. Damp, December 25th. An inch, passionate cube runs because of the seal.
Because of the seal.
Because of the seal, man.
Let's do this thing.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yet I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the other. I've seen a lot of strange stuff.
Arise, Titus of Satan! broadcasting from the porch or the basement or whatever realm hasn't banished them yet. It's the Random Word Podcast with your hosts, Ben and Salty Dalton.
Welcome in, Rando Nation. Nationwide is on your side to episode 47 of the Random Word Podcast with your hosts, Ben and Salty Dalton. And right here in front of our live studio audience.
Oh, yeah, there's everybody. Look at that.
Terrence.
Oh, no.
He's not moving, Ben. He's not.
Did he even leave from last episode? That was weeks ago.
Yeah,
Is he still here?
He doesn't look good. Guys. Oh, wait, yeah, we got...
Man, I didn't know Terrence would be...
He's almost dead.
That's an interesting skin color he's got. It's blue.
John, yeah, I almost said John just did. He's like a... yeah, he looks like a blueberry.
Well, Terrence is here. We're here. And we're all ready to go for episode 47, the Random Word Podcast. Again, Instagram at the Random Word Podcast, and then also you can find us on email at the Random Word Blog at gmail.com. That's how you can email the show.
To episode 50, which then will be in the new season. And we've gotten a lot of delicious, juicy sound bites from the last 20 episodes, which will feed the new intro style.
We'll have a new intro for next season, per tradition, and we'll have something special for episode 50 and things like that. We'll get into that.
For some reason, I thought you said something special for you ladies out there.
For all you ladies out there. Oh, I can't get the music quick enough. It's so far away.
It's right next to your hand.
I know, but I have too many things on here. I have like...
What does the board even look like?
Oh, you want me to tell you what the board looks like?
Why don't you pull a Jordan and just pee all over this desk?
Just imagine this board. It's got all these squares.
Squares.
They're purple, right?
No curves.
I haven't deleted any of them.
Nice.
And I've created a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
So, for me...
Show me your squares.
It's a little difficult to navigate sometimes.
Navigate my body.
It's a lot of squares.
Oh, it's a lot of squares, dude.
Because it's got
It looks like a Jeopardy board.
It feels a little bit like that, baby.
Hey. That makes me miss Bad Boy Billionaire.
Makes you miss Bad Boy Billionaire Club.
Yeah.
Ali
Parker.
God, I found like a screenshot on my phone the other day because I was deleting. Because you know how like your pictures just you get like
I went through that. I see stuff I send you all the time, and I'm like, oh, gotta get rid of this.
Yeah.
Because it's screenshots of like people that we both know that are like.
Yeah. I have so many useless photos on my phone where I don't need to have it. I take a lot of screenshots of other people's Facebook statuses or Instagram posts, and we all send it to each other, basically.
It's funny, too, because, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I scrub my photos and stuff, but, like, I basically will do it, like, when I clean out my closet, right? You're just like, I might wear that shirt once.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of pictures I will never need.
No.
But I can't delete them because I'm like, well, what if?
This holds like one tiny sentimental value
and I'm just like,
for you.
Oh, no, I could still probably, show that around.
Like, what are you going to do with that photo? What are you going to print it out and blow it up and put it on your board? It's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Someone at work the other day, their phone, no kidding, they've had it for 4 years. They have 48 pictures on this phone.
That's impossible.
I literally sent it to, I was like, do you just not take pictures? And they're
like 12 photos a year.
They're like, no, I don't really take pictures of anything unless it's significant. You know what was in there? Was like plants and like a reptile. And I was like, what criteria
do they have
are
like
you
a
meeting?
Husband or a wife or a kid or anything?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I think it's just like.
But even then.
48 pictures, and they've had this phone for 4 years.
Not even a few nudes? Like, that's it?
It's just
wow.
Like, even like, I feel like even a blind person would accidentally screenshot their phone more times in a year.
Yeah. I
do it, and I'm not blind.
Like, right now,
what are you sitting at
I've even scrubbed... But I believe it should tell me the number here, right?
I have 1,646 photos, and I guarantee you I don't need half of them.
I have 5,790
5,000? What's wrong with you?
Is that a lot? Is that a lot?
What are you taking pictures of?
That does seem like a lot.
I get it. You carry stuff over from your phones, right?
Sure.
I always do the data dump.
Yeah.
But 5,000, Ben?
5,000.
How long does it take you to find a picture?
I mean, I'll show you a little bit of scroll action. Actually, hold on. Let's see. Can't you like
just go to all photos?
Yeah.
Oh my.
So like I got a lot of like 2017, 2015.
Ben, you know what? I actually don't know. I don't know anything about your personal life in terms of like what you deem as picture worthy, because it is hard to just get a picture with you in general.
Yeah,
but apparently you're just like a free shooting.
I'm not a picture
photographer.
Guy. I'm not a big picture guy.
Yeah, but you take 5,000 pictures.
I have a lot of photos.
What are you taking photos of? What's the last photo you took? Why don't you bring that up for me?
Let me just make sure. It was probably.
What do you mean make sure? What could it be?
No, actually, the last photo I took was like a screenshot. It was a GChat screenshot. That was it.
Okay.
Because I sent it to somebody else. The last photo I took that was a non-screenshot. So my brother and I kind of have this bit right now where we send each other like the ugliest selfies possible.
Oh,
so like I sent him this selfie. That's kind of our
That'll
bit.
be up on the Instagram
Certainly
later
will not.
today.
So we take like the ugliest, like flat, like laying down where you just look disgusting type photos, and we just send it to each other throughout the day with like no context. It's just like, here's a photo of my face, and then like I just send it to as zoomed up and disgusting as possible.
So how long you been doing this?
For like a month or so.
A month or so.
But I try to delete them because like I don't want to accidentally like hand somebody my phone
and it'd
to
be
like
right
look through
there.
Photos, and it's just all like weird.
Because no matter when you
selfies.
hand somebody your phone, you're like, check
It's
out this
terrifying.
photo. They always swipe.
They always swipe. They never check out just the photo you want them to check out. But then also, I always have a mini heart. Like, I don't have disgusting things in my pictures, but like, I always have a mini heart attack to like try to remember. Like, do I have disgusting things in my pictures? Like, is somebody gonna find something like terrible when they scroll to the right? Like, they never would. I have screenshots of like stupid memes, but like, I'm always terrified my naked body is gonna suddenly be on the
Just
phone.
appear on there?
Like for no reason. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot that whole naked photo shoot I had.
Oh yeah, Sports Illustrated bodies. Yeah, with Ben on the front.
So we do have to get to the word because
Did you scroll through that gallery? It's on the ESPN app.
Which gallery? Oh, the body. Oh, yeah, the body issue stuff. Yeah, I did. It always throws me off. It's always like a strike. I have nothing against it, but it's just like it's weird to see like because I don't like watch sports to be like, hey, I wonder what these guys look like naked. Like I watch sports because like, oh, this guy's good at football or basketball. I don't be like, man,
But
Chris
even,
Paul's got a
like,
great ass.
Like even for like because it doesn't matter like whatever gender you are into.
Sure.
But even just it's seeing them in that context, right? It's like the idea seems kind of like, oh yeah, like, oh, my favorite sports star naked, nice. But they're doing weird stuff. They're doing their sports.
They're like dunking a basketball naked
in a river, and like in the splash of the water is covering their junk, and it's like. It's no longer. It's just weird.
It is weird. It's
I don't get anything from it.
I remember anytime the ESPN.
I mean, it's cool to see their like. Sure, you get to see like all their muscles. Sure, but like beyond that, I don't know.
Every time the ESPN the body issue would show up to my house, my mom would throw it away.
Oh yeah,
she would as soon as it came in the mail, she would grab it, throw it away. It was always very depressing.
The first calendar my dad ever gave me. Yeah. First and last. He's only given me one calendar. Sure. It was the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
Yeah, that was the best edition of the magazine.
Oh, man. I was
like, hey,
like,
are you tired of sports? Are you tired of just reading about sports in this magazine 10 months out of the year? Guess what we're going to give you? Chicks in bikinis. And then it became not even chicks in bikinis because they started doing weird stuff where like the girls are wearing nothing, but they're like
it's
like
covered,
sand is covering them. It's like that's as a bathing suit, right?
It started devolving.
This is not a swimsuit edition anymore. This is literally like body paint.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
But I just remember getting it from him one time and I was like I'm pretty sure he rushed out and just like grabbed the first thing that made sense to get like a 15, 16-year-old kid.
This is what you like, right? Like this is what you're into these days?
I like put it on the wall. I'm not a huge at least I didn't used to be. I don't write on calendars, right?
Yeah, neither do I.
So, and I used to cross off the days, but like then I would skip, and so it'd be like a bunch of X's, then nothing,
That's
and then I flip it.
My calendar at work is like that. I got a big wall calendar that we all have in our offices, and I have the same thing at work. Like mine, Monday and Tuesday weren't crossed off this week. Like I'll go like a week and a half without crossing it, and then I'll start crossing them off, and it drives Abby crazy.
I've started using my calendar actually at work, like my Outlook one. I'll record stuff on there.
We don't need calendars anymore. It says on our phones and our watches, like, okay, it's Monday, September 5th. Like, I don't need to check the calendar.
It's
you know?
they're becoming.
I'm not in jail. I'm not counting the days till my sentence like gets
next
up.
parole hearing.
Let's get to the word. The people are here for it. We'll bang through this. We don't normally talk much about the word, anyways. But let's tell them a little bit about the word.
You got it.
Your word is
Ripsnorter. That's Ripsnorter. Ripsnorter.
Ripsnorter.
Ripsnorter. All one word. Get it? Because it's the random word. So
what's the definition here?
So it's a noun and it means something extraordinary or a humdinger. Like that insult you threw at Mr. Peterman the other day was a real rip snorter.
Oh, yeah?
Like a humdinger.
Is this word from the 60s?
I guess, and it just means something like extraordinary. So like that game we were playing in NCAA, when you missed the kick, it was a rip snorter.
You didn't have to bring that up. You know, I'm still salty about it.
I could rip snorter is such a... What the f*** does that mean?
Our softball team's ability to make outs, to not make outs and play well is a real rip snorter.
Okay.
It's pretty extraordinary how bad our team is at things. I
just don't like, even if you separate the word a rip and a snorter, what is a snorter?
I feel like I'm a snorter because of
only at night.
Because of the snoring. Yeah, only at night. And only when I'm getting peed on by Jordan.
Yeah. Imagine if you were asleep for that. First
that
thing,
been...
if you woke up and the bottom end of your bed was soaked.
Yeah.
And if Jordan
I would naturally think it was me, but like
that's what I'm saying. It's like, would your first thought be?
I'd be like, oh my God,
I wet the bed.
Yeah, in Cabo or wherever you were, Cancun.
I thought you were.
Yeah, I would have been. But then again, we've talked about on the show, like you and I, we're not bedwetters.
No,
we're not. Not even drunk bedwetters.
Nope.
So, yeah, rip snorter. Wow, I've never heard that word.
No,
before.
neither have I.
Because some of these words that we hear. That we bring on the show, we sometimes hear them later on in life. This is one. I don't think that's gonna happen unless you kind of pull up like Leave It to Beaver or something like that, or some like
that's
old
a deep
show.
Reach. Leave It to Beaver. I have not thought about that. Wasn't that kid he was like Max Keebler in Max Keebler's Big Move, but all the time, right?
Well, then he had a friend, Eddie Haskell, who was like a real troublemaker, and the parents were like, if I recall right. I mean, again, I didn't really watch the show much, but I remember he had a friend. And unless I'm confusing multiple shows, but I'm pretty sure he had a friend that was like really bad, but would always sweet talk the parents. It was one of those friends where like, he's like a total devil, but like the parents are like, oh, he's such a sweet boy.
It like? And then there's another show, Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace was the other one,
where he was just
he was a menace. He was a terror to the town.
He was a dick.
He had the whole town handcuffed because he was doing
Dennis
pranks.
The Menace literally
slashing tires,
did whatever the he wanted,
stealing babies and dogs. Yeah, all those pies on the windowsill. You couldn't leave a pie on the windowsill in that town.
The cops would like come up. They like, what did they do? They arrest him, and Dennis is like, "I'm a minor."
Yeah, Dennis is like, "You
get your hands off of me,
You got no fingerprints.
Yeah.
You got no proof. Ex libra unis or whatever it is. The body of proof is on the state. I don't know.
First, you're throwing out all these like lawyer terms.
It's some Latin thing. I mean, you take Latin and then come back to me. But yeah, no, Dennis the Menace. He definitely, like, as an adult, things changed for him because life came pretty fast. Because
statute of limitations was the lawyer word I was looking for.
Sure.
Of the time in between.
Not e pluribus unum?
No, because like the time you commit the crime and where it's not like valid anymore, I think it's a statute of limitations.
Yeah, which is always an interesting concept because you're like, I assume certain crimes don't fall under that.
Like murder.
Like you can't be like
murder, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to be like,
yeah.
Oh, I murdered that guy about 15 years ago, and they're like, we can only have Percocet get up to 14 years.
Like, you just wait in the police station for the days leading up to, you've officially hit 15 years since your crime, and then, like, as soon as the clock strikes midnight, you
walk out on the street.
You got, like, a list, you hand it over to him, it's like, there's nothing you could do about it. Ripsnorter.
That would be interesting.
That would be a Ripsnorter.
That would be a Ripsnorter.
That would be a Ripsnorter. Let's give a shout out. We got one quick sponsor we want to give a shout out to because they do such a tremendous job for us every single time that we do the show. This is a brand new sponsor. Again, this is one that really has supported us from the beginning. We just haven't given them a mention on the show. And Salty Dalton, that sponsor is Squirrel Stop. And Squirrel Stop is the ultimate squirrel deterrent device. So what happens is, Squirrel Spot. It attaches to your bird feeders, attaches to your trash cans, to your roofs, to your car wheels.
We've seen it left and right. Just the other day, I went out on our back deck, and there were squirrels.
Brand new.
Our brand new back deck.
I got the tour.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Yeah, and there are squirrels everywhere. I'm talking like 50 squirrels at this bird feeder. But I tell you what they didn't have is they didn't have Squirrel Stop. It is the #1 leading brand in squirrel elimination. I'm talking about basically it's a contraption you put on your birdhouse. I didn't believe it. I tried it. The results are incredible.
The results are in, people.
They have a couple different options, and like the squirrel stepped on top of the bird feeder. That thing was rocketed into the woods because of this ejection seat technology.
Jet propulsion.
It was insane. Yeah.
Laboratory.
It's incredible. I think every home should probably have one. Protect yourself from the squirrels of tomorrow today.
Squirrel Stop. That is a sponsor. Again, entering code RWP. Thank you for your best discounts on that. So, Salty Dalton, it is now time to give the people what they want.
Okay, folks.
And that is Salty Dalton's incredible brain explosion full body learning experience. We got a shout out for this segment in the anniversary episode. People said they want more of this. They want to hear it.
Well,
and that's Salty Dalton.
Then let's go ahead and deliver on that. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, welcome into Salty Dalton's incredible brain explosion full body learning experience. I am here to talk to you about bat bombs.
I did not peek and cheat and look at what this subject matter will be, but I did see you left me a clue.
I did.
There.
I left you the top line unredacted.
So I would like to, before you explain what this is, I would like to try to figure out what a bat bomb is.
Take a guess.
My guess is, at some point, the military decided that planes dropping bombs were too conspicuous. So what they decided to do was strap small bombs to bats and fly them over enemy territory, and the bats would let the bombs go because they were like, I don't want to be holding this, and that is what the army used to destroy their enemies. They were small bombs, not big bombs, but they just small enough to fit in a bat's tiny claws.
Ben, that is, you were about 50% correct. You're close.
Was I right about like the bats being involved?
No, you're right about the bats and the bombs, sort of. Weirdly astute of you. Okay, so
they call me Mr. Astute.
Let's talk about bat bombs. So this was an experimental World War II weapon developed by the U.S.
So I was kind of on the right page.
Yes, you can be eerily accurate here. So basically, I'll explain what the bat bomb was supposed to be. So imagine a giant bomb. The cartoon-looking bombs, right? That fly from the sky downward. They have the fins on it. So instead of like a massive amount of gunpowder and explosives within that bomb casing, there are about 1,000 compartments, each stuffed with a Mexican free-tailed bat.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That was hibernating. That's the best part. They took these bats and they would. They basically, the idea is to shove them in this bomb.
Which side used this? Which country?
The U.S. used this.
Okay, of course.
So basically, the parachute would deploy from the bomb casing, so the bomb wouldn't hit the ground. It would just stop midair, and the casing would fall off, and it would release thousands of these bats. And now, the best part is basically these bats. It's a one-way trip for these bats. They were strapped with napalm.
Oh my god!
And with the idea was that you put bats in a foreign location in the middle of the day, right? After they're hibernating, strapped with explosives, with timers. They would go, you drop it over an enemy city. I think the target for this one was the testing sites they're using was meant to look like Japan. The bats would fly into attics, go into like little coves and cubbies and like wooden structures and roost, right? Because bats don't like to be out during the day.
No.
And then they would explode, meaning attic fires would start, random fires in buildings. Thousands of fires would instantaneously start and spread, which would demolish the city's ability to respond to that. Because imagine, like, sure, you have a fire on, like, South Street.
Sure.
What if you had 1,000 fires in, like, a 10-mile square radius? You wouldn't have enough firefighters to deal with it.
It's like little tiny missiles that are all going unpredictably everywhere.
Yeah, so that was the concept behind this program.
So this is what they tested. Is this out?
Yes.
They tested it out.
So that's basically the theory behind this, okay? So we'll move into the actual origin. So this well, no pun intended, bat crazy plan
That was nice.
was conceived by a dental surgeon from Pennsylvania.
Naturally.
Dental surgeon.
Of course.
Someone who works on teeth was like,
That's who has the best
you know how we
ideas.
could win the war, Nancy? Bats. A lot of f***ing bats. And we blow them up, see?
Funny thing is because dental surgeons back then, like, when they encountered any sort of issue with someone's tooth or mouth, their solution was just to yank it out. Mm-hmm. Like, there was never any, like, hey, let's work on this or fix it. Back then, a dentist just was literally somebody who just pulled teeth out. That's literally all a dentist was.
And, like, if I'm having someone, so if I was in the dentist's office today, I'm in the chair, and my dentist was like, your mouth is pried open, you can't talk back, and they're just talking to you, and he's like, I've got a plan to get rid of all of the people in Europe. I just used a lot of bats and explosives, and they're just twiddling with your mouth, and it's uncomfortable. And I wouldn't know. I would tell you that whoever said that is a fucking lunatic, right? Well, his name was it's Lytle. I think it's Little S. Adams, who happened to be a friend of First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, okay.
So this program was approved by President Roosevelt on advice from his counsel, Donald Griffin, after Adams sent a letter to the White House detailing the bat plan.
Mr. President, hold on real quick.
Yes, I'm quite busy right now.
We did get a letter.
Okay, why you bothering me for a letter?
I think it's from your wife's friend. God, what's his name? Little.
Oh,
Little. Do you remember?
He is a hell of a dentist. He fixed these pearly whites right up.
I can tell because they're gone. So we got this letter, and I want to. We read through it a little bit, and I'm not really quite sure what to think about it.
Okay.
So let me just read you a little bit here. So, Mr. President, this is going to sound a little weird. I swear we did not make this up. This was a real letter that was sent to us. We didn't. This is what this man wrote. I would like. Let's see. Let me read it. It says, "Dear Mr. President, I have a solution to our problem.
I'm ready to hear it.
The answer, my friends, is bats."
Crumple up that paper. Throw it in the trash right now.
He goes on to say, "I would like to put the bats in the bombs," and then he writes in like large letters that look to be like, I don't know if this is crayons. Do they have crayons at this point in our time? But they're large drawings of. There's the black crayon. It looks like a bat, and then it looks like there's like a circle around it, and then there's like fire drawn around that, and it says bat plus bombs equals win for USA. Oh. So I don't really know what you want me to do with that, sir.
You know what? It's just so crazy. It might work.
Of course.
So basically, this letter, here's some of the highlights from this letter. It was a formal, long letter. And in it, he wrote, the bat was the lowest form of animal life. And that until now, reasons for its creation have remained unexplained.
Really?
Unexplained. He points at a bat and just goes, no one knows
Useless.
why they're f***ing here.
Yeah.
No one knows anything about bats.
Completely useless.
They fly around at night. We don't f***ing know them. It's just, he says, and then he goes on and says that bats were created by God to await this hour to play their part in the scheme of free human existence.
The bat's like, now's our time, man. We've been sitting around here for hundreds of thousands of years.
And that bats were meant to frustrate any attempt of those who dare desecrate our way of life. This man said that God, Tilly, what are you doing?
Tilly is just all over me.
Tilly. Jesus, Tilly. This man said that bats are useless, but then said, hey, hold on a minute.
We found a
though.
use for them.
He said, actually, I know I'm just a dentist, a humble dentist. But,
I know I have no experience in military weaponry.
But God...
Or animals, really, for that matter.
But God designed these bats to destroy our enemies with bombs.
Sorry, Tilly scared me. Tilly, leave me the hell alone. I'm sorry, Tilly. I have no use. You're a useless animal.
And so Roosevelt...
I like the fact that Roosevelt was like, yeah, you know what? He's probably right. We should probably do
I'm not even joking. He goes, Roosevelt said, this man is not a nut. It sounds like a perfectly wild idea, but it's worth looking into. If I could write the f***ing president and say, hey, why don't you strap a bunch of, like, I don't know, ferrets with explosives and send them into Korea?
Not a bad idea.
And the president's like, well, no one's ever come to me with this idea before.
I like how the president treated that as like, you know what?
He has he has a cabinet of members dedicated to telling him
military
things about the military.
People that have been involved in the military since they were 15
years old. He gets a letter from his f***ing dentist and goes, you know what? We should blow up everyone with bats.
He goes, you know what? We should hear this guy out.
Yeah, come on. He might not be crazy. Insane. A letter from your dentist saying God sent bats to the earth to blow up our enemies, the U.S.'s enemies.
Yeah,
what about the bats in like f***ing any other country?
Now, at the end of the day, it's not that bad of an idea. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it sounds pretty crazy. I mean, they strap machine guns to dolphins. I've heard of that being a thing.
Listen,
I'm
not. I mean, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
No, it's a terrible idea. It's a really bad idea.
It's just like who it's coming from, his background, and then the president just not f***ing questioning this. How did the letter even reach his desk?
Yeah.
If I was the president, I read this, I'd be like, hey, can you bring me the staffer who sent this in?
It's like if like your gas station attendant was like, let's give monkeys torpedoes. And you're like, yeah, let's think about that.
This is why we can't talk to politicians anymore, is because we pulled too much of this
yeah.
And it didn't pan out.
Yeah, they're like, we can't talk to the people anymore after this whole Roosevelt bat incident.
So basically Roosevelt was like, it's a crazy idea, but it's worth looking into.
Worth looking into.
So basically he was like, Adams, forget your dentistry license. You're going to head a team loaded with the best and brightest from the United States Air Force to begin testing the explosives on the bats and working out all the details.
Oh man, you got this assignment too. I'm still waiting to kind of figure out what it is.
So if you were wondering about the carrying capacity of a Mexican Mexican Netflix, a Mexican free-tailed a Mexican free-tailed bat can carry 15 to 18 grams of military-grade napalm, which was glued to their chest via a small canister.
Yeah.
So basically, they took this bat, was like, here's your bomb, and that's it. And so they're doing this testing. So they go to Carlsbad Army Airfield Auxiliary Base.
Okay.
This is May 15th, 1943. Probably roughly maybe 6 months after Adams is given the keys to the Army to go develop these weaponized bats.
You are now a general of the United States Army, Mr. Little Dentist.
So on that fateful day, they were in testing and stuff. Several armed bats escaped.
Oh, because they're bats.
And roosted under fuel tanks, which when their napalm went off, incinerated the entire test range.
Oh my God.
The bats that they were weaponizing blew up the place they were working.
Yeah.
So after this setback, the project was then given to the Navy. They were like, you it, you take it.
Air Force, you guys screwed this up. I think the Navy, they're going to be able to figure this out.
And the Navy renamed it Project X-Ray. So Project X-Ray.
Cool name.
They worked with it for a little while. They were like, it, I don't know how to weaponize bats. They toss it over to the Marine Corps. So the Marine Corps picks them up. The Marine Corps actually ran it through a couple test runs. They figured out the ratio. Adams is still working on it. At this point, he's just bouncing around.
Yeah.
They did some test runs in a. It was designed to. It was like basically a giant test range that was built to specifications to mimic Japan.
Okay.
And their building structure, which is mostly wood and paper.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of like concrete high-rise buildings. And so after several test runs, the National Defense Research Committee, who witnessed it, concluded that X-ray is an effective weapon. It destroyed the town at minimum loss of life because like people see the fires, they're getting out of the house.
Sure.
So it's leveling a city, but it's not killing a lot of people.
Anybody, yeah.
Unlike the atomic bomb, which destroyed everything.
Sure.
So the National Defense Research Committee was like, F- it, this thing is awesome. But the project became canceled by Fleet Admiral Ernest J. King when he found out that it wouldn't be deployable until mid-1945, which turns out to be after the war. But he was looking at it and being like, I need these bats now.
Yeah.
If they're not coming here, they're out. And to that point, $2 million had been invested in this project.
God.
That comes out to $18 million today.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
the theory is that because it was taking longer to actually, because I mean, first of all, you have to you weaponize a bat,
Yeah.
then you have to shove it in a bomb,
Yeah.
and then somehow fly it there with a special timer
Without like those bombs going off.
without the bats exploding in the plane.
Yep.
Or
a lot of logistics.
or mid-flight. And half of the theory is that basically, so at the same time, that's when the Manhattan Project was kicking off.
Right.
So when you're going up to brief the president and
Yeah.
stuff, he's like, "Oh, an atomic bomb that
kills everyone?
It can do this. A bat carrying a little glow stick."
Yeah, you know, it's hard.
So-
it's a tough.
So that's
Choice.
part of the reason I think that they led to scrapping the project. But Project X-Ray, better known as the Bat Bombs, was a failed U.S. military experiment in weaponizing animals.
Wow.
I
That was
literally-
a full body learning explosion.
I was like researching this on my lunch break, and I was digging into it, and I was like, this isn't much. It's probably going to be like a one-liner.
Yeah.
We tried this and it failed. This was a gold mine.
Because you know that Little went back to like being a dentist, and then 5 or 6 years down the road, he's like he's working on somebody. He's like, did you ever hear about the?
Could have been something.
Did you ever hear about Project X-Ray? And they're like, no, I don't know what that is. Oh, let me tell you what. I was in charge of Project X-Ray. They're like, oh yeah, what was it? What did it involve? Well, bats.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, yeah,
right.
that sounds like a
I think
military
I need a new
operation.
dentist.
Yeah, they're like, all right, yeah, dentist. I think I'm good. I'll just the rot in my teeth. It's fine. We're all dying anyways. It's the 40s. There's a war going on. We're good.
Insane.
Wow, that was a good one. That was probably one of your best. Let's see if you can keep the brain juices going. 'Cause we got some fishbowl to get to, my friend. It is time for the bowl of fishes. The fish bowl, the big full, the bat bowl. We're here offering some invention ideas, business ideas, and the like. It's our chance to pitch each other these ideas and you, the listener, as a potential investor. If you are interested in investing, please email the randomwordblog at gmail.com.
Yep.
Include your all of your
account.
information, PayPal account. We'll give you ours, and you can immediately invest. And we'll work with that. Salty Dalton, would you like to go first, or would you like to?
I just talk for a while. You go first.
All right, I will go first here. I've got 60 seconds to pitch you my idea.
Ben, it's been a little while, but welcome to Fishbowl.
Good to
you
be
have
here.
60 seconds on the clock. Convince me.
All right, people, party people, my friends, my bats, my buddies. It's the weekend, right? And your friend is reaching out and asking, hey, man, what are you up to this weekend? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to go do something? Do you want to go to this brewery, or do you want to go to this place? And you go, God, I really don't want to do that. But you're like, I don't really have an excuse at the ready. Well, guess what? You have the excuse at the ready now with ExcuseBot. Enroll your phone in ExcuseBot, and your phone will automatically turn down any plans someone sends you. You can add certain friends to the preferred approval list, which will allow you to decide for yourself, but everybody else will receive a creative, well-thought-out excuse for not hanging out. It utilizes AI technology to detect those sorts of words that are involved with making plans, and it automatically turns them down in a creative, fun way.
So per the rules of this segment,
Sure.
I can't actually include anything you just said in my evaluation once the music stopped.
Oh, okay. Sure. But we have a discussion after. the pitch.
That's how
Just
it
a little
used
back
to be,
and forth.
right? You know.
Yeah.
No, this is actually phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Because now, how creative so does the AI keep track of the excuses it's given in the
Yes,
past?
absolutely.
So there's no overlap,
No
right? You
overlap
can't be
whatsoever.
like, oh, my Aunt Beth died.
No, it's a very intelligent machine. It will never do a repeat, and it also will customize based around the way you talk to people and text and think in your texting practices, as well as any customization you include within the app.
Now, is it just like a straight up excuse, or do they like kind of like bounce around? They don't answer for a couple minutes, and then maybe when it's too late to respond, they're like, "Hey, dude, sorry."
They know what they're doing.
Okay.
So they will vary it up. It's a very smart technology, and they will do things like you said, where if somebody asks you to hang out, you give them like a couple hours, and they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I was in a movie" or something like
That's
that.
okay. You've
sorts of
got
things.
4 stars in your pocket.
Yeah,
bud.
I mean,
That's a great piece of technology.
I'm really glad I ended up going with this one because I had another idea and it was definitely not as good at all. And I'm really glad I went with this. And I don't even remember what that other idea was. I just remember it was very bad. And halfway through writing it up, I was like, you know what? This isn't going to fly. He's going to rip me to shreds. So the excuse bot, it's
Yeah, I
an
like
automatic text plugin. And I feel like in today's society, it can flourish. It's really something that I think people utilize because we all really hate making plans, especially with certain people. Because you have those friends that aren't really your friends, but they're always the kind of people that want to hang out, and they constantly are like, "Oh man, we should go do this or go do that," but you don't really talk to or hang out with them.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly find ways to turn them down.
Yeah, no, they're and everyone deals with people like that. But this is one step in the right direction.
It is.
to weaning ourselves off of all social contact.
Yeah, and all exactly. You can do all this from the comfort of your own home. So that is ExcuseBot. It is your turn, my friend. Let's see what The Rock has got cooking. What do you got, my friend?
All right. So, imagine a world where there's no common cold. Imagine a world where the flu doesn't spread like wildfire. How could you possibly say that, Salty Dalton, is what you're probably asking me in the audience right now. Well, I'm coming to you with the answer to your prayers. I'm talking about Sneeze Guard. Sneeze Guard is a device that you wear on your head that descends onto your face biometrically when it senses a sneeze, and it will capture that sneeze and allow you to blow your nose. Basically, the inside of the lining of the Sneeze Guard is a disposable tissue. You will then throw that into the garbage and take the hand sanitizer that squirts out of the side. This is a way to revolutionize getting rid of the common cold to stop the spread of germs, stop the sneeze today. Sneeze Guard.
Where does it come from?
So basically, it's more oriented towards people who
Sneeze
if
a
you,
lot?
maybe you're already feeling under the weather, right?
Okay.
So you know how like in a lot of the Asian Pacific countries, they'll
Yeah.
wear a mask
Yes, I do.
to stop from coughing
And
on people.
I just find it funny, even though it's not really funny. It's actually like useful for society, but
So-
I just find it funny.
Imagine a headband that you're wearing, right? And
Okay.
then when it's connected, it has your temples, it's monitoring your pulse, stuff like this. When
Sure.
it senses your body is sneezing, it deploys basically like a disposable veil out of it, where you sneeze into that, wipe your nose, and toss it in the garbage, and then receive hand sanitizer from the side of the headwear.
The
And
imagery,
basically, so when you throw away, like it's got a roll in there, right? A very
Sure.
very thin microfiber bacteria absorbing roll. I mean, the imagery, yeah, it's not
it's
ideal,
not pretty. It's not a pretty scene.
but like think about it. Like
so it's like a hands-free sneeze device, basically.
It basically, and if you're lying on the couch, right, and you're feeling sick, you're under the weather, yeah, and you're sneezing up a storm, and you don't want to keep walking up to go get the tissues.
Sure.
Sneeze, toss, repeat. Sneeze,
So
toss,
like the
repeat.
headband is like filled with tissues.
Yes, that, and they basically it's a very futuristic tech. But
I guess so. I
mean, the only other thing it could be is if it was an actual like face shield that came down.
Sure.
Which it could be okay, but then you're dealing with the repeat bacteria. You're gonna have to cleanse it.
yeah.
But when you sneeze, your visibility is gone. So it's a deployable tissue device that senses when you are going
it's something.
to sneeze.
It's something. The tech is interesting because I just don't know if we're there yet.
I guarantee you we're there.
We're
We're
there?
in beta testing.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, it's reduced germ spraying percent. It's decreased germ spraying by 83% already.
83%.
83%, and that's just in the limited trials we've got.
Yeah, I was about to say it's got to be limited because that's pretty tough to create. This headband filled with tissues that covers your face somehow knows when you're gonna sneeze. I don't even sometimes know when I'm gonna sneeze.
I do if I look at really bright lights. I walked outside the other day.
I feel like you said that, and I don't understand. You said you're like allergic to the light.
Stand up.
That's
stand
wait,
up.
but
I said hold up.
Yeah, why? I'm not gonna stand up. Wait, because there's a guy at my work that claims he's allergic to sun.
Okay, it's a real. I'll say okay.
What do you have it ready at the ready? Do you have a screenshot on your phone of it or something?
Okay, so okay, this is telling me the
allergic to sunlight.
Yeah. Okay. So so the actual thing is called. So the acronym is ACHU.
I'm sure it's an actual thing.
It's autosomal dominant compelling heliophthalmic outburst syndrome that results in sneezing after photorecepting like very bright lights, initial from going from dark to bright. So some people have it really bad.
I guess so.
Mine is just like if I need to sneeze.
No, I believe you.
If I look at my lamp long enough, if I get close enough, I'll sneeze.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like a real thing.
It is.
No, I fully believe you, man.
I know you don't.
You have full.
Don't lie to my
full
face
approval.
anymore.
So the sneeze mask.
Sneeze guard.
Sure.
Stop the sneeze of tomorrow today.
I'm gonna go 2 stars because I believe in the idea. I don't believe that we're there yet.
That's a lot more than I thought I was going to
2
get.
stars is what
I
you
was
get there.
staring after the brain explosion part. My brain was fried. I was like, sneeze. I was like, we got some here, sneeze.
The fishbowl process can be interesting because I do the same thing where I look at objects around my office.
Everyday objects, I'm like, what can I invent out of a ladder?
All right, let's see. Phone. What can we do with phones? And I look at like a whiteboard. Remember I had the desk whiteboard idea? White desk? Yeah.
I remember.
White desk. We're not racist. And like some of these other stuff. Yeah, that's what I'll do is I'll look around my room and wait for just ideas to strike. Wait for the genius to strike. Speaking of genius... Speaking of other ideas, we gotta get to some TV show pilots, baby. We'll run through these. This is Pilot House, another opportunity for us to flex the genius muscles. Our opportunity to pitch some TV show pilots. We've had some good ones. We've had some not so good ones. But regardless, we've given you, the TV executives, plenty to work with. Salty Dalton, good moves there. How's the hip? How's the hip feeling?
I heard a little bit on that last one.
Yeah, okay. My hamstring. It's not. The first day with the hamstring, trying to sit on the toilet was the worst thing in the world.
No, dude.
I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
And my dad is a tank. He is laying his life on the line.
Yeah.
For this team,
Well,
and I love every second of it.
Oh yeah,
he's diving harder.
I will
than
not
us.
be able to do any of that.
He's taking like 3-line drives to the chest.
Yeah. No,
he just eats it and goes.
I feel really bad because the catchers that we put out there can't catch the ball and can't throw the ball. So when they throw the ball back to him,
he's got to like jump up.
He's always got to jump up, or it's a one hopper and he has to lean down.
The man is in good shape for his age, but like
for sure.
He's getting in better shape playing this. But oh my gosh, he's getting Charlie horses and pulled hammies because he's running after a ball.
Trust me, I can't even imagine. Like I'm hurting, but I'm like. I'm not going to say half his age because I'm not half his age.
You have vitality still,
but like
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go Pilot House. Let's talk a little bit of TV show ideas and the like.
Let me hit you with this idea. And this came to me later this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Now, what's a really popular show it's about real stuff. It shines a light on the darker side of the workforce, right? You've got once Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs came out, and then you had a show like Deadliest Catch. Now, Deadliest Catch was, a fisherman. They're out there. They sign waivers.
It's like
some
Alaskan
of them,
wilderness.
Some of them die. They're in the high Alaskan seas,
high-paying, danger.
Yeah, and they get paid for what they catch. So they get a haul. They come back. It's dangerous work. Sub-zero temperatures. You're in an ocean. Now, how do we bring that to land? Killer crops. Now, this is Deadliest Catch, but on land. Explore the gritty real-life farm crews that have to harvest crops that are either dangerous or they do it in extreme conditions. Maybe, tell you what, I actually have a real example of this.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm waiting for an example.
I honestly, until just now, I didn't think of one. I'm sure there's plenty of dangerous things people want that you have to go get. So it's a working title, but there's a crew that gathers this honey from these bees in like Peru.
Okay.
And these bees, if they sting you in excess, first of all, they make you hallucinate, and two, they'll kill you.
It's like LSD bees.
And so they smoke the bees out, and they go down with no protective gear, and they harvest the honeycombs while these bees are just there.
That's
and so
pretty wild.
Some of them have died. I was watching like this, like it was like a couple of YouTube clips on it. Like these guys do die. They get stung all the time. They're like lying on the trail hallucinating. So like I'm thinking of like something like that. Like it's
there's a similar thing I know that
maybe it's like where
guys like have to stick their hands down these holes
to get those
in
river
the ground, where like to get like to either
them to bite it,
fish, or I've seen where they actually do it on land where there could be scorpions in there and they're reaching in the hole to like get something, and like all the time guys get stung by scorpions and die. It's like in the desert, they have to like reach in. But there's another thing with fish where they have to reach into and
the
those
fish
holes.
bites their arm,
and that's how they catch it.
And so I think there could be a new explored. There's an unexplored territory in.
So we want to take the deadliest catch concept and bring it to land.
Yeah, and where it's like,
because in a lot of those remote places, I mean, not even making fun, it's just a lot of those remote places.
Maybe call it
they do things
hunter-gatherers or something.
They do things differently. Like they don't use all the technology that we do here in the States sometimes.
Yeah,
and go down to their roots.
And the crops can be super wild. There could be a special mushroom that grows on the side of Everest and only at this certain height, and you have to go get it.
Okay.
So I think there's something there. Then you could have like the drama. You have different crews competing.
Ooh.
You can do that sort of thing. They got to hire. You get the payouts. There's the drama happening. Maybe you lose a guy or two.
Catching season's almost over.
Yeah.
There's 2 days left, and they still haven't caught the big one. And then, Okay. What's the show called again? Deadliest Crop?
Killer's Crop, maybe.
Killer's Crop.
Killer's Crops.
Killer's Crops.
Yeah.
I keep thinking you're saying Killer Croc, like crocodiles, like a croc.
Crocodiles.
All right, here's the thing: you got to catch as many crocodiles as you can.
No. Why are we catching the crocodiles again? Just catch them.
It's television, Timmy. Timmy's the small kid that they're forcing to catch the crocodiles.
But Dad.
So I've got one that is okay. So the concept. So the name of the show is Hackman. And what the show is you take the world's best hackers and you give them a challenge to be completed the fastest with cameras and everybody's there. It's like, you're set up in like think of like a game show type atmosphere. And the hackers are sat in front of, 4 or 5 computers, and they don't know what thing they're going to be having to hack at that moment. And then it gets flashed up on the board. You got to hack, this website, or you got to be able to do this certain thing and hack this sort of certain device or that sort of thing. And there's a timer goes, and these are the best hackers in the world. And the reason why I thought this could be something that people would actually watch is just because of how much E-related stuff people are watching nowadays. E-video games, all these different things. I feel like there could be something there where, especially if each hacker has a computer screen, like their actual screen being projected on a screen behind them, so you're kind of seeing what they're doing. But I feel like the way to kind of make it interesting would be to have the things that they're hacking be things that are like unusual or funny or like kind of weird.
Yeah, that's just
sorts
it. You
of
don't
things.
make it like, because like you don't want to teach the kids how to break into the FBI.
No, so you don't necessarily show like all necessarily of the hacking that's happening, like how to execute it.
Half of it is like, I can't confidently tell you what hacking looks like, because it could be as easy as like someone
just
has
running a program.
Someone has a thumb drive that's like a Fisher thing for emails, and it's like, oh, I got a bunch of passwords. It could either be glamorous or it could be like, hold on a minute, I'm in the mainframe.
I'd like to think hacking is glamorous. It's probably not. You're probably right. It's probably just running programs. But I think that there could be some interest, especially if we make it, like I said, like kind of like weird things that they're hacking. Like, like give them like this like random toy store website in like Illinois and be like the first person that can hack this.
First person
and
that
change
can
like the home screen to be this thing. Or
change
something.
the home screen, like first one who can divert all of these orders to this location.
Yeah.
And or something like that. And then the location ends up being a children's hospital, and you diverted all these toys to a children's
That's
hospital.
kind of cool.
Maybe that would be an interesting
challenge. You can use the
challenge.
hacking for good and that sort of thing. I think you're onto something there, because then that gives a little bit more like purpose behind it and like people being interested. Because I think, well, first of all, I just love the name Hackman.
Hackman's cool. I do like
that's
the
kind of
name
where
too.
the idea came from. Is just I thought of the name first, and then I knew I wanted to do something with hackers. But I like that concept, like you said. If you could kind of like make things funny or make them for the good, like hacking for good.
Like they're just given a simple task, but it'd be like, now this is what you really did.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, look at all these kids.
I just feel like esports and all that stuff
it's
is
big,
interesting.
and I mean, there's and people are getting more and more involved in the tech side stuff in terms of like who owns your data. Everyone knows what you're doing all the time.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, all right, which hacker can steal the most social security card numbers
Yeah.
in an hour? It's like, I've got 5,000.
I've got yours, host. Oh,
Yeah, it's
man.
like, and
God
clear
damn it.
bank account. Took all your money. So yeah, Hackman is kind of what
Hey, you told me to do this. This is entrapment.
It's kind of what I thought of there.
I like it. I like it.
Let's just let's see. I was possibly thinking we may skip do's and don'ts and just run right to call center.
Let's do one.
We could do one, yeah,
Let's
okay.
do scaring your friends and
Well, hold on. We got to
coworkers.
play the intro music first. They got to know what's happening here.
Just do
What
it.
if that's your alarm? That would be a great alarm. Now.
Just
No, dude.
do it.
I had an alarm like that one time where I went through 3 really bad alarms.
Yeah.
One was like this DEFCON 5, like, "Wah, wah, wah."
Yeah.
The second one was this default thing that came on it was an LG smartphone back in like sophomore year of high school.
Sure.
It was like it was one of the earliest smartphones, and it was just this thing where it was like these two like these high-pitched people screaming at each other to get up, mixed in with alarms.
Sounds terrible.
I literally almost broke my phone in half on a daily basis. And then the last one I made a mistake with was Black Betty.
Yeah, I remember.
And
I
it's
kind of
the-
remember you having
It's
that.
the opening because it takes so long to get into it
Yeah.
that I would stop it 2 seconds in and be like,
Da-da.
yeah, da-da, and then it would just hold that, and I'd be like, well, I'm up.
There's a real quick. There's a lady at my work. She's like an older white woman, and she has a ringtone where it's an Asian man's voice going, "Hey lady, pick up your phone. Hey
Oh,
lady,
no.
pick up your phone." And it's an Asian now. So she has an adopted son who's Asian, and that's her ringtone for him. But I was kind of thinking, like, if she's just like in the line at grocery store and her ringtone goes off, then she's just a white woman with like a heavy Asian accent going like, pick up phone, lady. And it's an Asian voice. Like, people are going to ask questions. People
They're
are
going to
going
be offended, yeah.
They're going to be confused, especially in today's society. So, do's and don'ts, scaring your friends and coworkers. How do we scare our friends or coworkers? Some do's and some don'ts, Salty Dalton.
Well, Halloween is starting to come around the corner. It's peering its
It's true.
spooky little head around that corner, right? And we're seeing the
Oh.
skeleton. We're
Ooh.
seeing him. Yeah, we're getting a little scared, but it's not
You
here
sounded a
yet.
little sexual. You're like, oh yeah, we're seeing him. We're seeing that skeleton.
Like you were
with his,
seeing Jordan strip for
oh.
you. Remember that?
Yep, I remember.
And so we're starting to get a little scared, right? We can see it in the distance. It's not here yet, though.
Yeah.
So this is actually the prime time to be pulling all your scares
True, because not expected.
because they won't be expecting it. So what you're going to do is one thing you can do is you need to hide in extremely strange places.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, behind a door. I've been doing this thing lately where I've been scaring Ashley. Where, like, I'll when it's dark and, like, it's either in the morning or late at night and we're, like, getting ready for bed, I'll just hide somewhere. And then, like, she walks in the door, scare her. She punches me.
You have to do that when you're
Yeah.
married. Like, I do that to Abby.
It's-
She
it's
does that
how
to
I-
me.
it's how I keep things
It's how
alive.
marriage works.
Yeah, and but you gotta. But I'm hiding in obvious spots. Behind the doors, on the other side of the closet, stuff
Yeah.
like that. You need to start hiding like underneath sink cabinets. You need to start hiding.
Okay. It's going to take some time and dedication. In trunks.
In trunks. Yeah. One thing you can do is basically hide in your coworker's car.
Yeah.
Which that is a pro level move.
It
but
is.
there is nothing like having a hand reach up and grab you inside the safety of your own
When it's
car.
dark and I'm the only one driving and I get in my car late at night,
check the back
I'm
seat?
always looking around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm always expecting to see a face pop up in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. So I think you need to start finding your hiding spots in unusual places, because then no one at all will even be thinking like, there's no way someone would be able to shove himself into that pantry.
I like it.
And they open it and it's like, here, your chips, bitch. And then
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's going to take some time, dedication, creativity, but it's a good way to go. My do would be for scaring people. So here's what you got to pull off, Salty Dalton, is you got to, and this is kind of a long con.
Okay.
So you have to set this up where you got to do that thing, and I do this to Abby sometimes, where I'll just like pretend to be dead. Like you'll like close your eyes. You'll close your eyes and you like won't move, and you'll like pretend to be dead, and haha, it's a joke. So you need to do those sorts of things to your friends or coworkers for months. You need to like randomly pull it off. You're all hanging out. You pretend to be dead.
Oh,
wake
he's
up,
doing
idiot.
his bit again.
And then here's what you do. You go to Craigslist and you hire a couple people, some like ambulance people or like fake doctors.
Oh my God, fake ambulance crew would be
fake
incredible.
Ambulance crew. And you pull that move, and you know people at that point are not going to pay any attention to you at all.
Ben, stop, Ben. Come on, man, Ben.
And then what you do is you have one of your friends in on the joke, and they
they're the one shaking
pulse,
you. Then
and they go, I don't think I feel anything, and you pretend that they pretend to call 911, and everyone's kind of like, what's going on? Like, what? He's just faking it. You have the fake Craigslist people come in, and they like pretend to feel your pulse. They strap you up with stuff.
They fake CPR, and then they're like, this.
He's gone.
They just go call it.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be crazy, because your friend would be like shaking you like, Ben, come on, and you slump over, and they're like, yo, we need to get someone down here.
Yeah.
That is a long con.
But you need to be sure that you pull the fake death stuff all the time for the months leading up to it.
Yeah.
So that way they are so desensitized to you doing that they 100% are not going to get worried at all until the coroner comes in.
Until it gets real.
Yeah, you have a fake priest come in, and he like starts reading like last
that would be
and stuff like
oddly prepared.
Yeah.
Quick, get the priest in here.
He just happened to be here while we were driving by in this ambulance. So
I like it a lot. Okay, so my don't scare people with conventional methods.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is everyone is so hooked on the jump scare. We're getting desensitized to the scary haunted houses and roller coasters. What you need are those real life scares.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you do some Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can, forgery level stuff.
Okay.
Maybe they miss a mortgage payment. Maybe their house is being foreclosed by the bank.
I like it.
And it is a real fear.
Yeah.
And it's a fear that just eats away inside of you. And it's next level, right? And so they see that. They're freaking out. They're starting to sell things. They're getting the family together. Maybe he's trying to figure out a place to live. And then you come knocking on the door and you go like, did you get my prank?
Yeah.
And be like, you should have seen the look on your goddamn face. And then you walk away. And dude, boom. Best prank in the world. You will never be more scared than you are when you think that you're homeless or something.
No, that's
because
brilliant.
it's a devastating thing,
especially
right?
if you take real life stuff like.
So you got to hit hard like that. Maybe.
I totally thought I paid my mortgage this month, and you send them a fake letter that's like your house is being foreclosed, and stuff like that.
Maybe their dogs go missing, and maybe you get the wife in on it, but you get their dogs, you bring them to your house, and then you're just great. And maybe the cops show up and be like, your dog's mauled a 6-year-old child, so you're gonna have to come down with me, and we're gonna have to put him down, and then. They bring you to the police station, you walk in, the guy's like sobbing, and then all of a sudden the dog's there and the whole entire police station is laughing at you.
I like it. I like it a lot, especially with real life stuff.
Yeah.
My don't would be make sure that you are not the one that is actually doing the scare. What you want to do is you want to hire somebody else or pay someone to be the one that's scaring that person. Because
they would be expecting it from maybe you.
Exactly. So that way the trail on you is not there, and it's some stranger or some person that they barely know or something like that. And that's how you pull off the scare is don't be the one scaring, be the one that's paying for that scare.
Right. You're the middleman for that scare.
Be the middleman.
You are the scare broker.
The scare broker. That's actually that sounds like a name of that's like a cool title to have. I want that on a business card.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we're gonna write that one down.
What do you do? A scare broker, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I buy and sell fear.
That's a good tagline.
Yeah.
I buy and sell fear.
You know what? That would be a really good arch villain. Hold on a second.
Wait,
I'm really sorry.
Can you get that?
Yeah. No, I got it.
Right in the middle of the show too.
Hey, Random Word Podcast. Salty Dalton speaking. Oh,
we scared you.
That's called a prank.
Don't be scared.
Were you scared?
We scared you.
Um,
Ooh, like you talk like they're like a little kid. You're like, we scared you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's call center. It's call center, people. The randomwordblog at gmail.com, the way to get in touch with the show.
With
What do we got?
the show on the so in the call center, we have Carl. He is 27 and he has a robo roommate. Question is, how can I tell if my roommate is a robot? He is a nice guy and all. Cleans up after himself. Never throws parties, and always interacts with me. However, I never see him do anything outside of that. I catch him staring at the TV for hours at a time without moving, and I've never actually seen him eat human food.
I was wondering how long you were going to keep the voice going, and you lasted through that whole reading.
I feel like it would be weird if I stopped halfway through.
Yeah.
I
No,
wanted
no, you
to, believe
completed
me.
the bit.
I
No.
needed to pull the brakes.
We're all
but
proud of you. You completed
gotta
the bit.
commit to the bit.
Carl, simple solution,
Simple
Carl.
solution, you're saying.
Bucket of water. You throw it on them. If they're a robot, they're
That-
going to short circuit and die. If they're a person, they're just going to be mad.
Now that, I guess so, but like that could damage their relationship, right? This guy seems like the perfect roommate, and you're gonna walk up to him, throw a bucket. I feel like you need to arrange it and where he accidentally gets wet.
Okay, so just like a little bit of water.
Yeah, maybe you
Like pull
loosen.
the cup on the door thing.
Maybe you loosen the faucet handle and be like,
Okay.
dude, I'm really sorry. Could you like do the dishes for me real quick?
Yes, I can do the dishes for you, Robert. Or Carl.
Robert.
Carl. Okay.
Well, obviously he can't break the 3 laws that were in iRobot, right?
That's true,
A
yeah.
robot can never do a human harm. A robot can
Yeah.
never. I don't remember the other 2 because that
like
one
can't
was.
have sex with the people.
That
but
was
then it's
probably
like-
one of
Then
them.
they're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna immediately make sex robots.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not an iRobot. I don't remember that scene.
Well,
I don't remember Will Smith.
was
Did
in
he
the
have sex
deleted
with a
scenes.
robot?
No, he was a.
But wasn't there's got to be a girl?
There was a robot that was like self-aware, became like his friend. There was a
He
girl.
did not have sex with the robot.
No.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I mean, I don't remember. It's
Again,
been a while.
I can't 100% tell
Maybe
you.
that's where
I can't look you in the eyes and say Will Smith didn't bang a robot.
Maybe
I
that's where
wasn't
the
there.
Maybe that's where the idea came from for sex robots. They're like, there's that movie, right? Like, and Will Smith has sex with a robot. We should make sex robots, and that's how that industry got started.
That could have been. So I was gonna say do something maybe like So there's one thing that we all know about robots, right? They drink oil. Right?
Sure.
They wouldn't eat human food. So what I'm trying.
Gulp, gulp.
So what I would suggest is
They're not the Tin Man from
Start-
Wizard of Oz.
Well, what I'm saying is like start putting. So if he's a human, if you put oil in something and they drink it, they're probably gonna notice, right?
Yeah.
So put a little bit of oil in his drinks and food
Sure.
and see if he has a reaction. Now, if he doesn't have a reaction, it's because there's already oil in there. Now, if he does,
Okay.
he's human, or at least he
I feel like
has.
there's other ways to test
He might have cybernetic
than giving them
components.
oil poisoning.
No, I think it's pretty much that.
Yeah.
Because they've designed waterproof robots. What do you think a fucking submarine is? It's
A
a
submarine.
giant
It's
waterproof
not a
robot
waterproof
that you
robot.
shove people
No,
inside.
nobody would ever
No.
describe a submarine as a
submarine
waterproof robot.
is a giant waterproof
It's
robot.
an underwater airplane.
They have unmanned
That's what it is.
submarine robots.
It's underwater
It
airplane.
is not an underwater airplane.
Okay, an
It
unmanned
doesn't have
submarine
wings.
is not a
That-
robot.
it would imply that it would have
It does
wings.
have some wings.
Okay,
That's how it flies through the
a
water.
submarine does a lot of things by itself without needing a human.
So do cars. Are you calling them robots?
Oh, you call it? Oh, what about the newest Tesla that can self-drive? Would you define that as a fucking robot?
It's a good question, actually.
Because that's about as close as you can
Is
get
an
to a
unmanned
robot
car a robot?
that's carrying you. It's serving you.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I'd
Food
have
for
to
thought.
think on that.
That's food for thought.
Thanks. That was me eating
Is that how
the
you
thought.
eat food? That's how you eat thoughts? Sounds like a dementor. Delicious. Your memories.
We'll read one more here. I'll go with Stuart. He is 30 years old. Subject line is freedom.
Freedom.
He said, should all prisoners be released? They're just poor people that made mistakes. Locking them in cages like animals won't solve anything.
Stuart, let's level set real quick.
Stuart's a freedom fighter here. He wants to free the people. He's a man of the prisoners.
I'm going to take a wild assumption and say that this might have been sent from
prison?
prison,
It
right?
was
And he's just trying to convince
Yeah.
anyone,
Yeah.
right? Because, like, and I understand that, right? Because, like, sure, there are probably a lot of people that, you know, they did minor stuff.
It was an Alcatraz.com email address, so.
Yeah, oh yeah, that might be it. But like, that's a pretty big blanket statement, right?
Yeah,
Because
all
that
prisoners
would
should be
also
released.
include death row inmates, right?
That's true.
But they've But you heard the guy. They're like,
Yeah.
they're just poor guys that, made some mistakes.
Well,
That mistake happened to happen 32 times in,
What we could do is,
in a year.
is have prisoners have to still wear. They're not going to be in prison, but they still have to wear the jumpsuits. So we in
Interesting.
society can know that that's a prisoner, and they can do different colors based around like the crimes that they committed. So if you get on a bus and it's just you and red jumpsuit guy,
You better-
red jumpsuit apparatus face down in the dirt.
Yeah.
you're
Good pull.
you're getting off that bus because that's a serial killer.
Interesting.
But if it's a blue jumpsuit, you're like, oh, that guy just like
He's Gen
it's a
Pop.
petty crime. Yeah,
Yeah.
he sold coke or something like that. Like I'm not worried
He's
about
not going to stab you. He might eye your wallet, but he's not going to.
Now, I'm
but
sure
what
the
happens if
ACLU
they-
would probably not be happy about any of this because then you're discriminating against people for the color of their jumpsuit. It's
Jumpsuits, yeah.
racism. Jumpsuitism.
Okay, jumpsuitism. Yeah, we kind of want to avoid that if we want to stay relevant. So,
Yeah.
but I'm getting what happens in this play space that
Sure,
we're in, right?
sure,
in
sure.
a world where criminals walk free,
Yeah.
but with mandatory uniforms.
Yeah.
How would we readdress committing of a crime again? Right?
Ooh,
you can't.
recidivism. Yeah.
You can't send the man to prison if he's technically in prison already. If his clothes are the prison.
Well, if it depends. Repeat offenders have to get a darker shade of that color.
Okay, but what if you're already about as f***ing bad as you could get?
So if you're
So
like the
if you
darkest
have-
of red,
If you have murdered somebody, okay, let's
Yeah.
use that for an example.
Yeah.
Let's set that as the bar.
you're an
as
automatic red jumpsuit apparatus if you murder somebody.
So if you're a red jumpsuit apparatus and you repeat
She said, "This
a
won't
crime-
hurt,"
Yeah.
and I said, "Something, some." I forget.
No,
the
that's
rest of,
different
like,
than "Did you feel like a man
Yeah, that's
when
the
you
song.
pushed
No,
her
that's the-
around?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you feel
That's
better
that's
now?
all the same song.
You goddamn jumpsuit clown." Yeah.
yeah.
Face
Down in the ground, she said, "This doesn't matter." She said,
Yo, you should play that end on the because they changed that free market stuff where you can actually use music and YouTube
You can
videos.
use whatever the hell you want.
But like,
Yeah.
so what would you do?
I mean, at that point, you got to just execute him. He just said
Okay,
get him out
so
of
it's
prison. He
it's
didn't
one
say
and done.
anything about
Okay,
killing
so,
him.
so it's a one and done thing. So if you're a pickpocketer,
Yeah.
you steal another wallet, you move up the tier of jumpsuits.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
just closer to your inevitable death.
Yeah, no.
So the guys
exactly.
who've been released
Yep.
for murdering, it's a one-take Jake. If they get
yeah.
caught again, it's donezo.
Boom.
Lights out.
Yeah.
A
lights
double
out.
tap to the head.
Double tap to
Okay,
the head.
that's pretty f***ing extreme.
I mean,
see, would that just happen at any point in time? Like, are there people always watching them?
Yeah.
Would you just assume that?
Yeah.
So there's a sniper assigned to every single one. So like,
Hey, jobs for Americans. I mean,
Wow.
what do you want to bring in
Creating
more jobs?
jobs.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
creating jobs. We're doing what the people want us to do, and that's empty our prison population. We're also creating jobs. I mean, we're doing all the things that everybody wants to have happen.
I see literally no flaws in this.
I mean, this is why we should run for office.
You're right.
As
My platform, no prison.
we should be co-presidents. You know how many people would be behind us being like, we're executing repeat murder
You know how many
offenders?
prison votes we would get?
Ton of prison votes. They'd be like, oh yeah, I'm voting for that guy, even though
They don't
technically they
have-
can't vote.
They can't. But
No.
we would.
Then they and also it would save. So hear me out too. It would save ink on paper because now jobs wouldn't have to put on there. Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
What if you're applying online?
that?
What if you show up day one?
that already
what if you
saves
show
ink.
up day one on a red jumpsuit?
Yeah. Oh, if you show up to Starbucks and you're wearing a red jumpsuit,
Yo,
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know if they maybe. And then what we do is we change the job structure in society where these are red jumpsuit jobs. These are blue jumpsuit jobs. These
all
are
right.
green
So
jumpsuit
we're
jobs.
basically rebuilding a dystopian future,
Exactly.
from the bottom up.
Hey, when we start
We're kind
living
of just-
on, the Uranus.
So I just started watching the show from Amazon Prime. It's called Expanse.
Okay, I haven't heard of it.
Dude, actually really good. But it's basically like Mars and Earth. So Mars is fully colonized. Mars and Earth hate each other. Mars is a superpower now.
Sure.
Earth has used up all its resources. So is Mars has no resources anyway.
Yeah.
And so they farm ice from asteroids and stuff. And there's this belt of asteroids called And the people who work there grew up in zero gravity. They have like bone problems, but they can only operate in space, right? Yeah. And they're called belters, and like belters have to go get the ice for these people, and there's like this tension and this war and stuff like that. But you're kind of describing that, like, so you're kind of building in the prisoner caste system.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we are already perched, having not committed a crime,
and that's where the term blue collar comes from.
Wow. Are you serious? All blue-collar workers committed a crime. That's incredible.
But just petty crimes.
Just petty crimes.
Yep, that's where blue-collar and white-collar comes from.
What would white-collar be?
White-collar
White seems like a... Well, no, it's not a harmless color because KKK.
You're right. That's a great point.
So, what are we talking here?
But white is also in our flag. So it's also patriotic.
Well, me. You got me.
Patriotic racist.
So
is white-collar crime.
Okay.
So...
I don't know if I feel comfortable on that.
We'll just we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Well, we're still working on it. I'm sorry. I'm recreating the fabric of our society. Yeah. It's going to take more than 10 minutes.
I just feel like patriotic
podcast.
Racist is a super weird way to end the show.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Oh, man. Just
how do we close out?
Piss on the bed, why don't you?
Piss on
how
the
do we
bed.
close the show?
We
the
both
word.
think of the word.
Yeah, a word, not the word from the show, which was Pitsnoggle, right?
Ripsnorter.
Ripsnorter.
What the is a Pitsnoggle?
Same word.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta stop looking around the room because I feel like
you're
gonna. I was just thinking.
Oh, that would have been a disaster.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Robe.
Okay, coin and robe. Ooh, that could have ended real bad.
I was thinking of the KKK
we're like flirting with danger. It feels kind of like it makes you feel alive, right?
Because at any moment, it feels like Russian roulette.
At any moment, the show could just stop.
It could. If we end up saying the same word, it's over. We're done. We're Dunsky. It is our way of Russian roulette. This is our gamble. For those football fans out there, enjoy the beginning of NFL season,
Packers
and
matchup.
fantasy sports and all that stuff. For those
Let's
non-football
go Bears.
fans, non-football fans, you're probably going to hate the next 5 months.
Let's go Bears.
Besides that, sayonara, my sweet suckers.
Outie, Robert.
Pour oil on him and water. He's a racist robot.
Feed me the oil, Robert.